All right, everybody. So I want to make sure everybody knows how to, if they're working on a project, but they did not bring a hard drive, and they need to work on it in two places, how do they do that? So in this case, I've got exercise 1, which we've just started. Of course, the first thing we would do is duplicate it. Typically, I tend to save that in the session file backups, but I'm going to go ahead and rename this 2050, last name, first name, -ex1, 1-edit. And then once I open this up, I'm just going to go ahead and make some changes to it, do a little bit of the work that we know that we're going to be doing here in exercise 1. So I'm just going to delete a few things, do a little bit of work, kind of set things up for the way that we need to do them in class. And once we've got those things done, then in theory, maybe you've just finished this up in class, but you want to be able to take this work home with you. So you want to be able to actually go and get some work done at home. Okay, fair enough. Well, so I've got that saved, and I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Close Session. So once it's closed, we'll see that that session file has actually been saved here. Now the thing is, all of my work was just saved. You can compare the time even, was saved right now, so I know that that's been saved. So saving and closing it is critical. All right, but what if I just emailed this file to myself at home? So if I were to copy that, I'm going to email it to myself on this other hard drive. If I did this, the problem is there's a few things. Number one, it's not in a folder. Pro Tools sessions need to live in a session folder. Typically, they'll have the same name even, although that's not required. They need to live in a folder. So right now, doing this is not good. I would want to at least right-click and make a new folder. Another way is Shift-Command-N would also make a new folder. And then I would want to make sure that that was named. A lot of times, I'll just put this into rename mode, copy with Command-C, come down here, hit Return, paste with Command-V, so that's done. And then I would drop it in there. The problem is, if we open this up right now, it has no audio files to reference. So let's do that. All right, so you notice when it opens up, it did save all of the work that I did, but you see it's missing the audio files folder. Again, because, or it's missing the audio files because there was no audio files folder here in the hard drive or in the same folder next to it. And you notice it's made an audio files folder, but that has 0 bytes worth of data in it. There's nothing in that audio files folder. So when Pro Tools opens it up and sees that there was no audio files folder next to it, it says, hey, no audio files. And so it basically creates a new folder in case you want to record some. So the key is, if we want to do that, I'm going to go ahead and choose File, Close Session, and I'm not going to save it. But all I would need to do is actually go and re-download that exercise1.zip file. So if I downloaded 2050 exercise1.zip, and I were to bring that over here, all I need to do is in that same session folder is move those audio files in. So I'm just going to unzip that folder right here, stick the audio files in next to my work, and that way now essentially I'll have some work that I could work on here, and I would just need to be able to send the work file back and forth. So I could do it a couple of ways. I could actually just use this as my session folder, or I could simply move the audio files folders in next to my actual work. And then I could just delete both of those. So now I have my session file right next to my audio files, and if I open it this time, you'll notice it directly connects to all the audio files. So that's just a quick thing. So now let's just say, for example, I want to work on this at home. So right now I'm working on the file that's located right here. In fact, just to be clear, I'm going to close this out. I'm going to rename it. So I'm going to add just the word home in big letters to it and reopen it. So now I'm working on it here at home. I'm just going to do one thing. I'm going to make this first track really tall just so we can see that there's a difference. I'm going to save it, File, Save, and Close Session. So now the work file should have one big track when you open, whereas the one back here at school, if I open that up, it's still the same. It has no large track. But now I've done some critical work here. So if I email this session file to myself, I'm just going to copy and paste that back over here. Number one, I want to, when I download it at school, I want to make sure I only keep one working Pro Tools session in here. So I actually would probably take both of these and hide them in the session file backups. That way I could always get back to them. But my work should be right here. Now, it's going to reconnect with the audio files folder in my session file at school. So if I double click this, boom. So all of my work came over and it should be good to go. So if you're going to email this session file back and forth to yourself, just make sure that you have a folder, a session folder on both computers with all the actual audio files, and you should be good to go.